Welcome to the DTF Printing Podcast. I'm Adrienne Palmer, editor-in-chief of DTF.com. I'm here with Kim Johnson, owner of Paisley Jo Designs in Phoenix. Today we're chatting about the benefits of bringing DTF in-house, how to teach the customer what print process is best for their project, and the steps toward building personalized team stores. Hey Kim, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for hopping on the podcast. Excited to talk to you today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you got into apparel decorating and what Paisley Jo Designs is?
As most decorators can say, it was all by accident, was not planned. I actually have a degree in mortuary science. I was in the funeral industry for 22 years. Lost my mother and stayed for about a year, and then it was just time to make a change. I started helping local friend, colleague. She said, why don't you come down and help me in my shop? And I was like, great, because I ordered custom tees from her all the time. About 6 months into it, I started getting bigger orders, just not just friends and stuff. It was more getting, businesses and things like that. And I needed a company name. I'm like, I don't know. I never thought about opening a business. And just so happened, I got a little Yorkie at the time. She was a baby and her name is Paisley Jo. And I thought, you know what? Just Paisley Jo Designs. She's always by my side. Why not? Just so that's how it all kind of created and started opening my accounts up. And that's how Paisley Jo was started. And within a year of starting, I started my first school contract. And this would have been 6 years ago.
That's awesome. I've heard a lot of, entry points or former jobs into apparel decoration. I've not heard someone come from funeral home or in that industry. That is a jump, I believe. Wow, I'm so intrigued. I'll have to learn more about that.
It was a jump. It's definitely different, but also it has some connections. Customer service, listening. I think, those are two big aspects that we had to have in the funeral industry that I can still carry over to what I do now. Listen and really figure out what they need.
Sure. There's so many different aspects other than just printing to running the business, which customer service, of course, is such a huge example of that. So what do you offer currently at Paisley Jo?
We offer, obviously, DTG. I was the Epson beta user. Now it's launched. So DTG, which is the hybrid, and does DTG and DTF. We do vinyl, rhinestones, screen printing, embroidery, sublimation. Pretty much we offer it all.
So with the DTF and DTG hybrid, can you talk a little bit about bringing that in-house versus outsourcing? You mentioned that you were a beta tester for the Epson machine, so you've been working with it for a while. Just talk a little bit about what you think are the benefits or even maybe sometimes the negatives of doing that in-house.
Positive is you have control. You have control of your prints, you have control of your quality. And that coming from, colors, sizes of your design on your garment, things that you don't have control when you outsource it. You might tell them that you want this size, but what if you print it and it's too big? Because sometimes that happens when you print it, like, oh, that design looks too big for that shirt. Let's size it down a little bit. But if you're outsourcing that, you do not have that control over, what their output is. All you do is they just go off what you tell them. So having it in-house has been a huge benefit for us. Turnaround time, I could have a customer say, hey, Kim, can you do this for us? I can actually print them a shirt in 5 minutes if I have shirts already pre-treated. And I could show them exactly what it looks like. When you outsource that, you don't have that luxury. You have to wait on their production time and when they can ship it to you versus not. And so I think that is a huge factor, having things done in-house. And like I said, my biggest thing is colors, size, the quality of the prints. I know what I put out, but that doesn't mean that everyone else puts that same out all the time. So.
Sure. Do you have any recent experiences or any, on the shop floor stories that you can share?
I do. Yesterday, I had a job that It was a short run, so really screen printing was not the job for it. So DTF, 10 shirts, front and back. Usually when I have some larger runs going, I will just outsource that and go pick up my prints versus doing it here. These are great for, if you only have 2, 3, 4 prints to do, because it takes a little longer with curing and everything with the DTF. So went to press yesterday and I was like, oh, these colors look a little off. And it was actually just a solid black. And it had like a little bluish red tint to it. Well, I came over here and I printed a DTF in black because I have that control. And I pressed it and it was night and day. You could tell the difference. So I had to go back and redo the prints that I actually already ordered from another company because they weren't what I needed to produce for the customer. So yes, it does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Having that control just seems really just so wonderful to have. And also a little bit of the troubleshooting. I think being able to test and test and test and see, okay, well, we thought this color was going to print this way. It's not. The design needs to be altered. The inks, there's needs to be fixed. Or even you saying, well, the design was too large for the shirt. It doesn't look right. So being able to do that in-house is very, very important. So tell me a little bit about the current customers you have. You mentioned maybe you were working with some schools. What does your customer base look like today?
I do a lot of schools. I have actually 4 contracts. We do a lot of sporting teams. We do just businesses. But also, I still like those, hey, can you make me a shirt for my daughter's gymnastics? Or can you make me a shirt for my daughter's cheer squad? I enjoy doing the fun girly things. I love doing rhinestones, glitter. That is obviously vinyl. So I do still keep those little customers that don't order just a big bulk. Because I think that's a big part is a lot of people don't want to mess with those little 1s and 2 shirts. But some of those customers that I had at the beginning are some of my large customers now. So I don't forget them, and I love doing them. We do a lot of fundraisers. Pretty much just a little variety of everything, which is nice because you don't come in and do the same thing every day. But I enjoy doing it all.
Are most of those local, or are you working outside of Arizona?
A lot of them are from Oklahoma. That's where I'm from. Just actually moved to Phoenix 2 years ago. I mean, my big customer base is from Oklahoma, but I'm starting to get more recognized around here. But I do not do no advertising, so it's word of mouth. I do have an employee that works, and her son's on a baseball team. Her daughter plays softball, and she gets the word out. And, we're in a lot of groups, as you call them on Facebook, that say, hey, we need someone to do t-shirts. And my employee loves doing social media, so it works out well. And so we're really starting to kind of grow over here in Phoenix as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, word of mouth. I mean, if you can gain that network and that community, really the sky is the limit. Is that kind of how you looked at it when you first came in, thinking, I don't want to spend any advertising dollars? Or is that just it's worked so well for you that you're not really considering spending money on different ads?
When I first came into it, being from Oklahoma, I was from a small community, and a lot of people knew who I was, obviously being in the funeral business. And so when I transferred over, I started doing t-shirts. People just, hey, I heard you're doing shirts. Would you do some for us? And that's kind of how that all started. I have never spent any advertising money. Word of mouth. If you provide a good customer service and a good product, those people will talk. Not only just people just go out and bash you if you mess up on something, but I don't think I've ever had that happen, but I had so many people say, hey, you can use my t-shirt girl. She does a great job. And if you provide that, they're going to come to you naturally.
Yeah, word of mouth does not work if you do not have good customer service or bad quality prints or not a good turnaround time. So you really have to be focusing on those aspects of the business to make sure that you're not getting bad mouthed on the street.
And definitely coming from being, in the funeral home, customer service is a big part of me and our business. I take a lot of pride in it because it is my name. Paisley Jo is me, and I try to remember that whenever we ship out an order, it's my name going out that door. So we're real big on, making sure it's correct. If we mess up, I don't hesitate to call the customer, hey, we need to wait a day. I need to get another shirt in, but it's communication. Let them know that, we're human, we make mistakes. So it may be a day delay on getting your order, but I want to make it right. And I've never had anyone say, no, I've never been upset. So I think just another thing is communication, letting them know, being honest with them, and they come back. They will come back.
And being a small business owner, being able to have that one-to-one relationship with your customers, I'm sure has to be a benefit to you. They're not talking to a customer service agent, or they're not really maybe ever met who they're printing the shirts. So they're working directly with you. Do you find that to be a benefit as well?
Definitely. Actually, we do have people that ask if we outsource it because they want to know if I have control. And there are some things that we do outsource. Embroidery is one. And not going to lie, it's hard to find a good embroiderer that can do good quality work. But, screen printing, we do not do screen printing in-house. I outsource it. I have a really good business here that we work with. I use 613 originals. You can't beat their quality, their customer service. I use them, often. So we will do the screen print transfers in-house on, the larger runs, one color. That way we have control over sizing and, not so much color, but we have some sort of control over what you're putting out.
Did you have to shop around at all to find the shop that could outsource for you, or did you it worked out well with this?
That's funny. You always have bad apple in the pile. I honestly ask around my other colleagues that are in the business, say, hey, who do you use or who do you recommend that's in the area? Especially whenever I moved from Oklahoma to here, I didn't have, my people from back home, shipping was, getting kind of outrageous. And so I thought I just need to really find someone local. And I got lucky with the screen printer. Embroiderer, I still having some little issues. So if anyone knows a good embroiderer around here, definitely hit me up afterwards. Again, that one's a hard one because embroidery I think is just a little tougher. But I ask around other businesses, and a lot of them will offer good advice and say, hey, the guy does a good job. There's a lot of influencers, I guess you could say, in our industry that will help guide you.
Yeah, I feel like the apparel decoration industry is always so open to sharing what has worked for them. Who do they recommend working with? But there's so many different outlets that you can go to. Luckily, in this industry, you can head to publications or media outlets. You can work with your vendors. You can follow industry influencers to see, okay, that's the product that they're putting out. That's what I want my product to look like, So it's really nice to be part of this industry where not everything is too, closed-lipped. Like, people want to share because they want the industry to grow. And that's always really nice to see.
Yeah. And, there's enough business for all of us, so it's not like you're going to be still in business from so-and-so. If anyone ever calls me, I tell them exactly what I use, because I want them to be successful. Trust me, there's enough business out there. I turn away business a lot. Because I just can't take on, more on our end. And again, a customer calls me and asks me if I can do a job. If I can't, I do have people that I refer them to that, does a good job. And I think it's huge in our industry as well. Not only helping us, but help a customer. If we can't provide a service for them, let's suggest somebody who can, because they'll come back to you.
Seems like you have a really great community just in the Phoenix area, which is amazing. But I met you actually at Impressions Expo in Fort Worth. So, and we're talking about, connecting with people in the industry. I just want to hear about, the importance, I guess, of going to events, networking, meeting people within the industry, especially people that may not be local to you. How has that benefited, your expertise and the growing of your business?
I think trade shows are huge. I was really sad back when COVID started, when they shut down. I almost felt disconnected. You can watch webinars, you can, a lot of companies were doing them, but you don't have that interaction. I'm a people person, just whenever I go to a trade show, I'm always looking for education. That's one reason I love trade shows is the education part of it. Even if you only learn one thing, you got something out of that whole show. And just, again, networking. I met you and, we went to an event we were at expos at the distillery, I think it was. But it was a little mixture of everybody, of getting to, you might have heard their name, but you never met them in person. Or you follow them, just like you. I have followed you from, a couple of years back, and I've seen you on several, but I've never actually got to meet you. So I just think it's really huge. And sometimes when you have that interaction, that personal interaction, it's easier to reach out to that person. Hey, I met you at Fort Worth. Have a question, and ask them whatever you need to ask. And they will almost all the time reach back out to you. I just think personable is just a big part of us. I mean, it's why I am successful. I didn't know all this. Vinyl, 5 years ago, was all I did pretty much. It was vinyl. And now we offer it all. And a lot of that is from going to trade shows, doing some research, and reaching out to other industry friends.
Yeah, there's so much value. On the education side, I agree completely with you. If you could just have one takeaway and you actually come back and attempt to implement it, I think that that testing, does this work for us? Whether that's on the marketing, social media, actual technology side, there's so much value there that you can get. And I think that's always so important, is making sure that you didn't just take a bunch of notes that, you're going to actually implement what you learned.
Correct. Yeah. You definitely have to go back and use them.
Yeah, we met at an equipment zone and stalls and event where we had a ton of fun, and it was more of an intimate setting. So you really got to talk to people. Very intimate, we'll just say it was a distillery tasting. So what's going on there?
But it was fun. Yes, something I've never done before.
Same.
But it was fun, and just seeing people react on, not so much of a professional level, but seeing them outside of their norm is kind of neat to see, because some people act a little different when they're in their booth, because they have to be that professional, but then they could let their hair down a little bit and be a little more personable on the outside. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, shout out to Equipment Zone stalls. I think Epson, who all the sponsors were, but that was a really neat idea. Again, networking, we sit down there with the stalls people and getting to hear their stories and new stuff come out that's not actually been announced, and they kind of let you on the inside of it. And again, you connect, you build that relationship, that professional relationship with those people. The next morning, went back to the show, and several of the guys that were there at the distillery that night, how are you? What did you think last night? And there you are. You're building that relationship with them for future. For, if you need something or need help, advice, they'll help you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can gain a lot of value just walking the show floor and attending education sessions. But if you're able to go to some of the after-hour events, or if you can actually, it can be tough for some people to get out of their comfort zone and come out of their shell a little bit. But we're all talking about the same thing. Everyone loves what they do. And so if you do this every day, you're able to have these conversations. So if you open up a little bit, I really do think that there is value there as well, because then you'll become more aware of different things that are going on, not just at the trade show, but after hours, where you are able to get a little bit more one-to-one personal time, and you make those connections like we did. And you're here today, on the podcast, which is so amazing.
Well, I recommend, if you're shy and just a lot of people have that social barrier, don't know really how to interact with other people, education. Those education classes, some are really large classes and some are small. You get so much out, and you actually kind of learn a lot of the speakers kind of go on a more personal level. There's a couple of them I always liked, Dane with Great Dane. I love his personality, and that's one that I might have been to that same class 3 times, but he always teaches something new. And so I never get tired of him. I enjoy listening to him, and there's a couple others. I encourage everyone to go. I know some of them do cost money, but again, if you can walk out with one keynote, you could really benefit your business on the other side of it. So I feel like you get your money back if you will implement some of the things. But if you're shy, please go to the education classes and just listen, because you'll get just as much out of it than walking the show and having to face someone face to face. I just think education is big, especially at these shows. And excited to hear that Printing United's bringing education. I'm excited. I hope I get to go to some of the education there. I'm not sure, but it's exciting.
Yeah. No, the education that is offered at Impressions Expo or Printing United, or even some of the smaller events. There's Print Hustlers, there's ThreadX, those are Shirt Lab. Those are all based on education. And there's a lot that you can learn because you're hearing straight from experts. They're plucked because they're doing really well in their business. So, you're actually going to be hearing from people who are very successful, which is so beneficial. Some of the conferences have on the show floor education that you don't necessarily have to
Shop
pay.
Talk, I think it's the one.
Yeah. Shop Talk's great. Future State Theater. I know Made Lab does on the show floor education sessions, and that's just an entry fee into the trade show. So to be able to just sit down and listen to experts in the field talk about ways that, you can implement and ways to grow, it's awesome.
And a lot of times the expert will stay after and answer questions. You don't have to raise your hand and say, hey, I have a question. If you are shy, almost all the educators I know is more than happy to answer and help, especially with all the new technology these days. There's DTF. There's so many. I believe Terry Combs has a class out. Everything you read on the internet is not true. Maybe it's something. But and being Terry Combs, he's a personable guy. He would love to sit and talk to somebody who has questions about DTF and I believe screen printing. He's got a lot of history behind him just because he teaches DTF, and that's basically any educator up there. They have more personable. But so if you are shy, please, I encourage everyone. That's where I've learned a lot of my tricks, my tips and tricks, is from those little education classes. They might be $180 for 3 days, but the knowledge you get, that's $180. That's so beneficial.
Yeah.
I think that's probably my biggest thing is education. If I'm talking to another shop that's new, please go educate yourself. You're good, it's just, that's where the knowledge is. So,
and I like what you said. You can definitely talk to the speakers after the show. They give out their email, they give their Instagram, but if you want to walk up and just talk to someone, they're excited to chat with you. I've had some of the best connections after I've gotten off the stage, and people come up and share their business card, and they ask questions that maybe they didn't have time to or didn't feel comfortable sharing, from, off the stage in an audience. So make sure you definitely do that. You had mentioned before, and I want to definitely get back to it, your personalized team stores. Can you talk a little bit about that process and what that looks like for you kind of on the back end, and then what that looks like for your customer?
Definitely. I do use Spirit Cell. They actually chose me to be their beta tester. And I think there was 25 of us. We got to go in and be the first ones to test it out. I can tell you from today, I have, I think, 4 stores right now launched. It's came a long ways. Team stores are big for us because we do a lot of schools. We do a lot of fundraisers, sport teams. And usually how I kind of do it is if I have the team mom, let's just say a baseball team, a team mom calls me up and say, hey, we need parent shirts. Okay, great. What are you thinking? And she kind of gives your idea, and then that's your opportunity right there to say, hey, if we're going to offer t-shirts and sweatshirts, why not some hats? And that's your way of upselling them. And and every mom's gonna say definitely, because we want the cute things at the door. So depending on what the situation is, if it's a school, it's usually basic stuff. PTA, it's just basic shirts. They want cheap, but they don't want to be on the other end collecting orders, collecting the money and tallying everything up, and oh gosh, we left out that medium, or we wrote it down wrong. Well, in team stores, you go in, you set it up for them, you set a date it closes. Like, for instance, I have one that closes today, actually. And so at midnight tonight, it closes. Tomorrow, I generate some reports. It tells me exactly what I need to order. And then it gives my employee the report of what to do, and shipping invoices, packing slips. It has the address and the name. So it's really organized and you don't make very many mistakes. Team stores have been huge for us. I have a store open pretty much all the time. So
Yeah, it sounds awesome. It also kind of puts that control over to the customer and allows them to make those decisions that's best for themselves, especially on the customization side. Like you mentioned, I don't know what I was used to growing up. It's like, well, everyone's getting, the big bulky t-shirt. That's what you're getting. Sorry about it. Like, it doesn't matter what you look like.
most of my customers, we do offer the basic Gildan, the jersey, just the basic tee, but we also offer the Bella. Now that I know t-shirts, I don't wear nothing but the soft tees now, tri-blend. And most of my customers have kind of turned that away because that's just what we offer the majority of. But you have those dads. I don't want that soft tee. I want the basic. And so it gives a variation of everything. I do recommend, if you put too much out there, it's overwhelming for some. And it seems like sales maybe aren't as good as if you keep it simple, limited, and don't give too many options. It just seems like I've had better luck with the more simple, basic type of stores versus, offering everything. Basics will get you where you need to go. And you can offer, short sleeve, long sleeve, and offer basic and soft style tee in both aspects.
Yeah. Is there a sweet spot in terms of number, or is it just more a little bit of that variety?
Yeah, kind of just the variety. Again, if it's a PTO shirt from the school PTA, you really have one design. Don't offer 6 colors. Offer 1 or 2 colors. Mainly, we go with 1 color. I just keep a basic and a soft style tee. When you start offering all those, it just gets it, and it even causes chaos for you as the decorator. Because what if your print has red in it, but you put it on a red shirt? Well, you're at the alterate. I'm not one to put red ink on a red shirt because it's just not going to match. So I'm a little OCD about that. But if you keep it basic, you don't have to go in and make those alterations on those prints. Make your job easy for you on the end, getting it out for customers. But also on team stores, for instance, this baseball team that came and placed in, opened up a team store. In the end, we actually take each individual order, we bag it up, and we put their invoice in there. So the team mom, the baseball mom, does not have to go sort it all out. And that way we know each order gets exactly what they order. And not only do I check it, but my employee checks it. So there's 2 people checking it, sizes and quantities. That way they get what they want and get what they ordered, and not, I ordered a U small, but I got, adult small. So there's 2 eyes checking it, but also it doesn't put that back on the baseball mom. Oh, you just hand me, 10 smalls, and then she's going to go home and sort that. We do that all in-house. So we hand her a box, and they're individually bagged with the player name on it, and then she goes to practice and hands them out.
That's awesome. Again, that customer service is key there. And how long are the stores typically open? Do you, a couple weeks, a month? How long do they have?
I try to keep it at 2 weeks, no longer than 2 weeks. I always try to coordinate at least 2 paydays. A lot of people get paid on the 1st and the 15th or bi-weekly. So I try to be mindful of those who are, that have to work around paychecks. So usually I open them up, like the 31st and close them the 15th or the 16th. That way they're more than likely getting a paycheck or 2 paychecks.
Sure.
And can accommodate that. It really kind of depends on really who you're working with. There's some that, hey, we got to have these. It's for a fundraiser. We got to have these in 2 weeks. I have to close the store in a week. So really just, it's your customer. But majority of them will say, let's do the 2 weeks. That way everyone has opportunity. If they can't make it on their first payday, maybe they can do it their second payday, and it gives everyone an opportunity to be able to order.
That's very considerate of the customer. Yeah. And then a really good feedback for others who may be listening who might not have thought of that as a way to, think of your customer and their situations.
Well, you want everyone to be able to order. It's just, what I'm saying. And kind of what made me thing for doing that is a couple of moms, I don't get paid until so-and-so, can I pay you then? Well, I start thinking, why don't we just keep it open until the 1st and the 15th is just good dates, or, the 31st and the 16th. That way everyone has an opportunity. And that's really what made me, because the customer did reach out, and I could not tell her she couldn't order, I think it was a cheer squad or something. But how do you say no? Your daughter won't get a shirt because you don't get paid. That's not fair. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why we kind of started doing that.
Yeah. Speaking of payments, for your other customers outside of the team stores, are you asking for payment up front, or what do you find to be beneficial of that process?
Unless you have obviously a school, can't do that. You've got POs. Majority of them I make pay. I got burned during COVID. People ordering sublimated jerseys, and during COVID, they shut down all the games and playing games. I got stuck with a lot. So, and those were ones I did not make pay up front. Well, when the sublimated jerseys came in, they weren't playing ball. So that opened my eyes. I said, you know what? I at least have to take half down. But if you just tell them, full payments up front, the majority of them will do it. I don't think I've ever lost a sale over it. I think that's pretty common these days. There's some businesses that I know they're going to pay, but they need 15 business days, because it's just how their billing cycle runs. I'm okay with that because I know they're good for it. But after COVID, I'm pretty sure, I may not have any more now, but I got rid of them. But I had boxes of uniforms. There was a couple teams that did pay. And I didn't charge them the full amount. I charged them, what I had to pay. That way it just cleared me. Because I couldn't use them, because there wasn't no ball playing. So after that was the eye opener. But being from a small community, I love doing holiday tees, like a Merry Christmas with glitter and some rhinestones. Those I didn't always make pay up front, because I can sell them. If someone ordered one and didn't pick it up, I could, sorry, Paisley's snoring.
That's Paisley Jo.
That is Paisley Jo, and she is out. But I could sell that again. But when you get into personalized uniforms and things like that, you can't resell that.
Right.
You're stuck with it. So a lot of people understand these days, pay for it up front. It's just the way. When you take your car to the shop, you got to pay for it before you pick it up, or they're not going to let you drive off the lot. So I think it's just the way. And if you just set your boundaries, then that's just the way it is. They don't try to, hey, can I pay you next week, but pick up the shirts, unless you make arrangements. No, you can just pick up shirts. I've been burned a lot, and being a small business, it hurts. That $500 can take a hit, especially on even smaller businesses, that they rely on that $500, and they're out money as well.
Yeah, maybe some silver linings of COVID was learning things about the business, realizing can't do that again. Not sure if something as significant as a pandemic will happen again. Hopefully not. But you understood things even for the day-to-day side of the business, that, okay, I'm going to need to take payments up front, because if this happens, I can't be stuck with all of this. And I think also there's that benefit with DTF and these, you're printing, what you're printing. You're not having to print a minimum order quantity of 50. You mentioned that even earlier, you can print 1 to 2 shirts for someone. So there's benefit in moving into that new technology for that reason, but also just realizing and understanding, okay, maybe the way that we were doing business doesn't really make sense moving forward.
I think it's just the way things have gotten. Just the economy. Things are different. Things were way better for me before COVID. I feel like I still stayed busy during COVID, because I offered different things. The masks, and I kind of jumped on the bandwagon of things that coming out. People still wanted holiday shirts, and it's just kind of the way I did things a little different. And she's still snoring. Sorry, but now I'm able to print a sample shirt or something, but I have that control and whatever pretty much the customer, and if I have a really good customer who I call them VIP customers who order from me consistently, monthly, all the time, that I kind of jump maybe little hoops for versus, I'm not saying I ever make a customer not get what they want, but I had the VIP customers that, hey, can you send me out a sample shirt? Especially when the new printer came out. When we introduced a new technology, I was trying to get my customers on that board. Well, the first thing they asked is it a plasticky fill? Well, it's because depending on your DTF provider, if someone who's done their education or not, some of them can feel plasticky, depending on the artwork and things. So trying to get them on, going to this type of printing, I had to do a lot of sample shirts, and majority of them, I said, you just pay for shipping, I'll send you a shirt. And they did. So whenever I was doing the beta testing, I had to print so many shirts a day. I would print different designs and things. So I started getting stacks of shirts. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with all these shirts, just random things. So I started running like little contests on my webpage or on my Facebook group. Show me your favorite PJD, Paisley Jo Designs, PJD's designs that we've done in the past of your favorite one in the last 5-6 years. And so there's those people who got the more likes. I just send them random shirts because I was just going to throw the shirts away. But also it shows them what the printer can do. And I've got a lot of orders from, just those sample shirts. And I'd always try to coordinate, okay, she wears an extra large, so I'd try to send the extra large and kind of coordinate to what they would wear. But that's what I did with all my sample prints. And that's why this has taken off, the DTG DTF printer, because it was a new technology for my customers. I didn't offer a whole lot of DTG, DTF, prior to getting this. And now they are, can you print this in a new printer? But you can do so much more with this printer than you can vinyl or, your possibilities are endless. It's all can be done right here. And that's what's nice is if it's polyester or something, just throw a DTF film on there, print it. And I actually, just like yesterday, I got better print color off of this than I did from my, who I was getting my outsourcing from. DTF. I got a lot more better color on the F2270. So, but it's a control thing. Again, and there's some techniques that you can press to make them not have that plasticky feel. But I have customers who don't like that plastic, that rubbery feel. And but I think TF has came a long ways within just last year. It's new technology. 3 years ago, we thought it was going to be a fad. It's, people's like, oh, what do you think about this direct to film? I'm like, oh, I don't know, and I was going to replace everything. It's going to replace DTG printers. No, it's not. It's not. It's going to just another print method is all it is. But, 6 months into it, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and now it's huge. And again, it's, DTF is huge. It depends on your artwork. If you have a lot of cavity space, is it good for a big design that's full? Not really, unless you're putting it on polyester and need to use it for polyester. But I like DTF. I used it, like I said yesterday, on just 10 shirts. It was a perfect setup, and you can print a couple extras. So if they do call back and say, hey, Sandy ripped her shirt or can't fit in her shirt, just pull it out and press it. It's in the mail today. and that's the nice thing about the DTF film.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really loved your idea about the contest to get rid of excess shirts. I think that's such a unique way to, one, use social media to your advantage, but also to connect with your customers and then still make it about the business. What shirt did you like the most? That's really bringing everything back to Paisley Jo Designs and connecting with the customer. Oh, and they get these free shirts. There's so many benefits to that. I love that idea.
And it shows them new technology. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we're trying to, let people know. We're offering something new now. And I want you to wash it. And I told everyone, wash it just like you do. And let me know your feedback. Because it was a beta. I mean, it is the beta printer. Mm-hmm. And so that was big with Epson is, we need feedback. What do we need to do different? And honestly, they did a great job with it. There wasn't a whole lot of things to be done with it. It's amazing. It's out now for sale. But there wasn't a whole lot to do during it, but my customers loved it. DTG just has that unique feel. It's a lot to screen printing. But also if you want to put on, if you want that same design on a pair of shoes, a hat, hey, I'll just throw on a piece of film. You don't have to just apply it, and it literally the same amount of effort. Throw a film on there, I could print it, and I could have your hat in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and it just blows them away. So I made a design up and resold a bunch. Well, every one of those people who ordered that shirt, I made koozies and did DTF transfers, the same design. So they got a matching koozie to match their shirt, but they didn't charge them. I mean, that koozie cost me 50 cents.
Yeah.
So many people are like, oh my gosh, I love my koozie. It matches my shirt. So throw a koozie in there with the same print, DTF. And we love doing little things like that. It's little things that, it's like, oh, this little girl, she loves glitter. So why not, make something up for her? And then the mom will, text me, oh my God, Sally loved her shirt. Thank you so much. What I owe you? You don't owe me anything. Thank you for your business. And it literally cost me $2 or $3 to make it. And why not? So
the customer thinks you're going the extra mile, but maybe you're only going a couple extra feet, in terms of your business, but they don't know that. And so they really feel valued as a customer to receive something like that. And it's always a nice surprise to get something for free and then something more than you were expecting.
Exactly. And us women, we love things like that. I mean,
yeah, if you have that in your budget and are able to kind of look at what you spend throughout the year, and if you can do it, especially even if you're doing that, you mentioned some VIP customers, and also to get a little bit of the feedback. I know you're a beta tester for the Epson, but to get customer feedback, I mean, as the printer, obviously you're checking the quality, you're checking, the art, everything, you're going through it a fine tooth comb, but the customer really is going to give feedback that maybe you don't even know because they're doing so much of the washability, they're wearing it. It's really interesting to get their feedback. So to have that is really important. And it seems like you're able to have that customer relationship. When you moved to DTF, you were still obviously at the outsourcing for the screen printing. That's long runs, that's one color. But it seems like you're having conversations with almost every customer, talking to them about the difference between DTF, DTG, and screen printing. Is that accurate?
That is very accurate. I let them know, if they come to me and say, I have this order, I need so many shirts. I first tell them this is the best print method, the cost of, and this is the most cost effective. And I let them choose, but I automatically tell them, this is what I would do if it was my shirt. I just think do they want to be educated on what the print method is? Probably not. They just want to know, how the washability is, how's it going to wash? Is there any special instructions on washing? And I let them know that up front. And, DTF is a little different bill than DTG. And I let them, but also DTF is a little cheaper than the DTG print. And some of them think, okay, I want to go the higher, I don't want that fill. I want this type of a fill. But then there's others like, oh, I'll do DTF, because it's a little cheaper. And I think if you just let them know that, every method, shirt method, print method, has its place, depending on what the graphic is and the design. If it's one color, screen print transfers, $6.13. They're like 15 cents. You can order 75 for like 30 something dollars. I mean, I can't do that at DTF or DTG or vinyl. So, and it's 7-second press, you're done. And I could do those all day long and the easiest money. But when you get into 2, 3 colors, 4 colors, it's a lot more expensive to do that. Mm-hmm. So you just have to look at it, is this a good print for, if you're talking, 100 something shirts, screen printing, 3 colors, it's just cost effective. And, just screen print is never going to go nowhere anyways. And, but certain graphics, I think, has a place for DTG and DTF. It just depends on your graphic. And that's what's nice, the different print methods. There's just, every print method has its place in our industry, no matter what it is. I do have, matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I had a customer who has a pool company here locally who's out in the sun. I mean, it's 100 degrees here every day. So she wanted something cool that the guys could wear to clean pools. And I ordered polyester, not even thinking. We ordered light colors. I could sublimate these. I ordered DTF transfers. Well, before I even got the DTF transfers in, I was like, why am I not sublimating these? I mean, they're going to be in the sun. There's, it doesn't matter. So I ended up not even using, so I have a whole stack of their logos sitting over here in a drawer. Will I throw them away? No, because they'll probably order, something that I can use them again. Or use them eventually. Just didn't use them at that time. But, I didn't even tell the customer I went to the sublimation. She didn't even know what sublimation was, honestly. When she picked them up, she's like, oh, there's no thick, there's no texture, there's no feel. I was like, because it's sublimated. And I do have this sublimation printer. So, but it didn't even cling on me whenever I was just ordering. I was just, just going through orders, just ordering when I needed to order. But, they'll want sweatshirts or something coming up. So I have a stack of, that's what's nice about DTF. If you store it right in the right environment, you're good. I mean, use it, in 6 months and it's going to be fine. So I have a stack of all-American pool stuff, left front chest logos and full back. So that I will use, eventually.
Yeah. Or if they don't order from you, maybe you can just send them a sample of what they're missing and send them a shirt and say, hey, here's an idea for you.
And, when that customer gets that sample shirt, they... like, for instance, when I was sending out these Epson ones, I let them know that I was the beta tester. And I wrote a little note in there, hey, just want you to try this shirt out. I want you to wash it normal. Don't do anything different. And then, please let me know your feedback. And when you give me a feedback, I'm going to give you a code. You get, $5 off your next order. I had a lot of it back. A lot of people, loved it. I don't know if I even had a negative one. I'm pretty sure I did not. I know I didn't. So, but I had a lot of people respond. But if you give them that little code, $5, but it helped me out to even let Epson know the feedback from, and I think there was like 40 something customers, that got free shirts, I paid for shipping a shirt from Arizona to Oklahoma, which that's where a lot of them went, was $4. Wow. I mean, they're getting, we were using Cotton Heritage shirts. I was lucky that Cotton Heritage donated a bunch of shirts for me to try because I was having to print a certain amount of shirts a day. Well, you add that up. Yeah. It gets a little expensive. And plus having an employee run the machine and taking time out of production. So I spent the $4, shipped the shirt back to Oklahoma and let them test run it. And everyone loved it. I mean, but you're introducing a new technology that you're offering and just a new print method. And I had nothing but great feedback.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, do you have any final tips for anyone who's maybe considering making the move to DTF or even just, stopping outsourcing it and bringing it in-house? Any tips for our listeners?
I think my first thing is DTF. There's a lot of education in it before you jump into it. I mean, DTF printers take maintenance, and if you're not real savvy, tech savvy, owning a DTF machine may not be the best thing for you. Until you build up that customer base and you're using DTF all the time, outsource it. However, when that come in mind, shop around, maybe not even ask for a sample, do a small order, because that company is going to send you their best, but what they print may not be their best. So it may just be ordering, two transfers, not even let them know that you're testing them, just 2 transfers, just do your education. And just, a lot of Facebook groups out there right now with DTF, get in there and read them, and ask people, do you recommend, and just do your research. Now bringing it in-house, that's why I big on the 2270, because it's both. I mean, I print, there's actually a DTG print on there right now that I could just take this shirt off and I could lay a film on there and print the exact same design. And you don't have to change ink. It's the same ink system. All you're doing is it's just reversing the ink order, and then you apply your powder and you cure it. No, nothing else to do. So that is what's nice about the DTG, DTF, the hybrid is what they call it, the hybrid printer, where you have that flexibility of printing DTG or DTF. And this is easy maintenance. Matter of fact, that's why I was hesitant about even getting a print. I was actually looking at getting one, but I was hesitant because you hear horror stories. I mean, if you got to run them every day or keep them on all the time. I cleaned this last night because I used it yesterday. Cleaned it last night. I will not turn this back on until the following Monday, and I'll come back and it'll be a perfect print nozzle check. It's just if you keep your atmosphere at your humidity level, everything, and the environment, it's going to be perfect. But again, I have that option of printing, so I can do my own color matching. Obviously, I had an issue yesterday, and size issues. Having it here now, you outsource that, you don't have that control. You also got to keep in mind that printer, that company doesn't know what your artwork looks like. It may come across, blue, navy blue, but it's supposed to be black. They don't know. All they know is what you send them. But when you print here, you can have that control, especially with the little Epson color match that I use all the time. And you can check your colors, and you can actually change them in the program to match. Printing it here, so you have the control of different things when you have it in house. But there's also, doing it when you do it outside, you don't have to take up print time. They print them, mail them to you, then you press them. So there is some advantage there if you can find a good DTF supplier.
So research, test, talk to your customer. Those are all really great tips from you, Kim. I appreciate you sharing everything from your business. I know I personally learned a lot. Where can our listeners find you? Social media, website?
We do have a website, PaisleyJoDesigns.com, Facebook under Kim Johnson. Anyone can message me anytime. And then there's a group, Paisley Jo Designs. There's actually a VIP group. And then, email me or whichever way.
Yeah, make sure you catch Kim at any industry event or message her maybe beforehand to see, hey, are you headed to the show? And you can meet one-on-one, because we talked about the importance of networking. Yeah. Great. Okay, well, thanks for joining us, Kim.
Thank you.
We'll catch you on the next episode of the DTF Printing Podcast. Thanks for listening, and head to dtf.com for more information.